Okay, so a bloodline. You see people use that word all the time. Most of the time it's actually not even properly, but what is a real bloodline, right? You guys see on a lot of the best breeders in the world, right? They have a bloodline. In case you're wondering, it means it is a bloodline. Everything is related and bred properly and maintained, like I will be showing you guys in exceptional detail through all of this stuff here. So, again, a bloodline is related blood. Now, that could mean that you're breeding, grandpa to, granddaughter. It could be that you're breeding siblings together, which is very applicable in a lot of species, like a lot. You could be doing, any combination of that. It doesn't even matter. You could be like great-great-grandpa to, and it, depending on which species you're dealing with, like what type of fish, and sometimes even down to the actual species. What would that look like, and what would be most appropriate? Or what is your breeding background? Because sometimes people are coming from breeding mammals, and then they come into breeding fish. I actually saw someone in a group the other day making a comment about this. It was very clear that they had a mammal background, like dogs or something like that. And so they didn't say that, but I could recognize the patterns of what they were trying to talk about, and it's from a mammal. So, but then again, would that still be applicable for fish? Oh, absolutely. If that's how they wanted to do it, it would give you a different outcome at a different pace. And there, in my opinion, it is not quite as applicable to fish as what I'll be showing you. I've used their tactic before, actually. Again, it's not a bad tactic. It is far more complex than what your average person is going to be doing. It is still very, very qualifying as being one of the top strategies for you to do it. So again, it's not that they were wrong. They were absolutely not wrong. It's just, in my experience with these or anything that I've worked with in the past, in most cases, this is actually going to be way faster to get where you're going. So, like, ruthlessly faster. It also provides you, like I mentioned in another video before, it provides you safeguards to not actually having it be set back, and then also still having the faulty genetic present in the stuff you're set back with. So the process that I'll be showing you guys actually enables you to weed out individual genetics, and so you can grab it and pull it out and not actually be carrying it forward with you. And that's really important for you to be able to achieve your goal faster. So again, each person can kind of have their own tactic for this. You're going to see quite a large spread. Don't get me wrong, they are all, like I said, each breeder is going, and that's actually even what this guy was saying, but each breeder that's an actual real breeder is going to understand that there is a generalized basis that is consistent, and each one of them will also have their own slight take, at least so long as they're not just hiccuping out someone else's stuff, which is rare that anyone would really share it anyway, but like extremely. But just the same, it is still going to hold ground, as you would go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. So it's like kind of like, you could view it as like the top breeding strategies, the top bloodline maintaining strategies. So anyways, though, yeah, a bloodline is absolutely not when you're crossing new unrelated blood in constantly. That's actually the opposite of what you want to do. Like that's working against yourself, not working for yourself. That's working against your customers, not working for your customers. That's the easy way out in reality, just constantly breeding other stuff and then just, I got into a bad spot. Oh, it's okay, I'll just move on. And then just going on to the, that's not actually breeding. That's not being a breeder. That's just breeding something. That's it. That's what you're doing. Even if you're like, oh, I'm breeding these and I'm just constantly bringing out cross blood in, And you're like, oh, well, I'm selective. I'm still grabbing the ones that I like the most. Okay, cool. So that can be a tactic, yes. But is it as complex and as dedicated as running an actual bloodline? No, not even nearly. Not even close. Is it going to be as safeguarded? Absolutely not. Is it going to be as practical even? Not really. You will. It's for certain species. Very few. I want to say that here. Very few is that actually required to do. Very few. Very. So no one out there sitting there creating all this world-renowned stuff, just cross-hatching everything, right? They're all doing this. So it doesn't matter if someone's like, oh yeah, those don't, you can't inbreed that, or you can't blah, 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 right? But then magically someone has a bloodline that's just like extremely ruthless. Okay, so then that right there shows that they're actually just full of it. That's not true. That's not the reality, and that's not what is actually happening. So for whatever reason they're saying that, they're either totally uneducated or they have ulterior motives in what they're saying. So you got to keep that in mind too. So, and in most cases, that's what it is. So, you know, not a lot of people are educated to this extent, but just the same, it is still, they would have better sense than to hiccup out some of the, you know, crap that is being said out there. So anyway, though, I think that answers the question. A bloodline is just that. It is related blood. Can you ever introduce non-related blood entirely to a bloodline? It depends. Yes and no. The tactics of using that would also have to then be, you know, you would have to have some kind of certainty that you weren't bringing negative traits in. So keep that in mind too. So let's say that you grabbed someone else's real bloodline that you knew was squeaky clean, then okay, fine. You could. It wouldn't really be that, you know, in fish, in these, it would not actually be beneficial, but just the same, if you had to, could you? Yes, but then what would that look like? It would look like you taking one offshoot. So like, let's just say you had like X pairing. You would take one of the offspring, breed it to the new blood, and then breed their offspring back to your actual bloodline. That's what it would look like. It would not look like you breeding them in and then using half the offspring and all your stuff. That's not what it would look like. When you're bringing in stuff like that, you're not bringing in entirely new genetic to a bloodline. That's not how you do it. That's not a real bloodline. There might be a few species out there where that may be what they have to do. I'm not sure, but for every one of them that I know, that's actually not what you would be doing. You wouldn't be doing that. That's not a thing. That's not how you would be, you know, even if you're looking at dogs, you can go on, I have a lot of friends who are actually like really big show dog breeders and such like that. I actually really enjoy it, and I have some pretty good conversations with them. But anyway, though, yeah, so it's like oh man, I just lost my point. Sorry, I'm not feeling that good too. As you can see, I'm just like, it's whatever. It's besides the point. So point is though, yes, you are going, oh yeah, even if you're looking at some of these organizations that are like the top, they too will tell you to follow the patterns that I just told you now. So they too are going to say, no, your bloodline, you're going to be bringing in a new here. If you did, then you would be breeding it on the side, then the half-related offspring being bred back into your actual bloodline. That's the most systematic thing that they, you know, that a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them will actually be showing you to do is you're not wanting to dirty your line. So you're really just straight shotting it pretty much. But anyway though, again, a lot of this will actually make a lot more sense to you guys after you see this model, and then everything I'm stating about this other stuff and the differences in dogs and such like that too, you'll be able to see, because the dogs, you would not be following this to the best of my knowledge. I don't think anyone does. They have different models that would be a little bit more cross-hatched and off-kilter like this. And then they're going like this, not like this. So, but anyway, though, that's, like I said, you'll see that. So, a real bloodline related blood. Hence the name, Bloodline. A bloodline is not, that goes for anywhere in the world. So, it's not a bloodline if it is not related blood. So, again, benefits to a real bloodline, like I think I was saying before, sorry. Again, I'm really not feeling good, and I'm just trying to make these videos. I think it's pretty important, so bear with me here. A real bloodline, you are able to actually clean up the genetics, removing all negative traits from it. And that includes genetic diseases, genetic faults, deformities, such like that. So you're able to actually breed out to where your offspring are actually not messed up, but yet more cleaned up. So you're strengthening it. If someone says they got a bloodline and it's gradually getting weaker, then they are actually not doing their job properly. So somewhere in their program, they've messed up a step, or they're not encompassed for dealing with such realities that would be being seen down the road. So again, in my opinion, the best breeding programs are going to be ones that are accounting for the calculated and precise removal of the negative traits. Now, does this mean that every single group you go to do this with, or whatever pairing, I don't care what it is, does it mean that they are all going to be able to meet the genetic standards of creating a bloodline? Absolutely not. That is absolutely not. As a matter of fact, most wouldn't meet the criteria of creating a bloodline with. So, again, that is also something that comes with experience. You recognizing when you have a genetic that is capable of carrying it to the, to the end goal, or not. And so if you don't have that experience, then you are going to be just having a trial and error, and you're going to have to see where you land up. And if that's the case, like with wild stock, if you're, sorry, I'm pointing to something you guys can't see, but if that's the case, then you would be having to test this theory between wild and F2 and 3 is where you would have to be calculating these things up and actually asking yourself, okay, so am I seeing any elevated traits of XYZ? Am I seeing good body thickness, form, everything, all of it, everything. Is the color consistent? Am I seeing the traits that I want to actually push forward? Is, what am I seeing here? And do I think that this is workable? If the answer is yes, and you've gotten to F3, then by all means, do this. Do this. Go back 3 generations and then start this program so you can do it the right way, not be running yourself into the ground by going 3 more generations, right? Because I'm here to say that while some may be able to do that, the results of doing that are not good. So you don't want to just be half-ass F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Like just breeding siblings together every generation, just go, 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 go. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I actually know that it is possible, but at the same time, that's very sloppy. You don't want to be doing that. By the time you got down here, you would just be not in a good spot. You would. That's what a lot of these guys that are just in it for money and such like that, they will do. They just grab whatever and throw it in, and then they just kind of throw in randoms as they go, and then that's pretty much all they do. And the problem is when they get, a fair amount of generations out, they just start reaching all hell. And so that's where you see, people advertising wholesale stuff, or, these wholesalers that offer retail, and you're like, that doesn't look like what it's supposed to. What the hell? And that's because they just threw whatever, they totally did no proper maintenance of a true bloodline. So anyway, though, enough of this video. I'm trying to make these not very long, which is fairly difficult to do, but so, again, bloodline, very clean genetics, striving for perfection. Not bloodline, constantly hatching stuff together. very anti go in the right direction here. And it's also every time a risk for you. And even if you didn't know, because you're just like, keep breed, and you just so happen to not see the problems, the moment someone went to go really do a bloodline, they would just be smacked in the face with all the problems that you brought into it, getting to the point that you had it when you sold them. So, you know, if you view it like people, right? So people pass bad genetics to their children all the time. And we're crosshatch. Now, granted, line breeding, you know, creating a bloodline of people is not what I'm talking about at all. So just keep that in mind here. But what I am stating is, because humans are just cross, right? You have to look at it for the similarities here, for what I'm talking about. We also are cross, passing cancer and all kinds of, deformities, learning disabilities, like colorblind. We're passing all of this stuff just constantly, all the way around our gene pools, just constant. And if you also look at the amount of problems that are going, and we're going up, the more that it's happening, right? So you got to look at it like that. So for what that's worth, it's a good comparison for you guys to think about. It's a very, anyone can relate to what I just said. You can look like a perfectly okay person, but you can also pass all hell to the offspring just like that. And if you had the right two people crossing too, it could be super bad. So it is what it is. We have to be able to, look, the goal, one of the beautiful things about breeding animals is we are able to do the best we can in eradicating the problems, not perpetuating, right? That's should really be the only goal anyone really even has with it. So, again, take with this what you want, but again, I hope that a lot of you guys that are seeing this too, that are already breeders and such like that are actual, real, known breeders, have long track records, whether you're in reptiles, fish, dogs, whatever, if you see these videos, then I hope that you also chime in with some stuff on this stuff. It would be nice. It's not needed. I am teaching my own personal, everything that I do, everything that I'm showing you guys on all of this next sections is all my own workings and my own figurings and my own steps and processes to eliminate this stuff the swiftest. So one of the things, even in reptiles, that I was very well known for is being able to achieve what someone could in 5 years in only like 2. But again, it's the processes that you would be using for this to be able to do it. So that's also how I was able to prove a lot of the genetic issues that people were talking about and false believings. It's how I was able to kind of also jump in and prove, like with white and yellow, with Tug Snow, with, with all of this, even eclipse stuff. And you can achieve so much in so little time if you're running proper programs, right? And like Lemon Frost, again, you gotta pay attention to the traits, the patterns that they take, the rhyme and reason for which program, and even knowing when to switch. Sometimes in your breeding programs, you're going to get a new trait, an actual gene. And then you're going to have to find out, is this recessive, dominant, codominant? What is this new gene? How does it react? And I can show you and I will be actually showing you guys how to test that as well. So it's all coming, but just the same though. So this pattern here though will also get you to surface new traits the fastest. So again, there's rhyme and reason for all of this stuff that I am teaching you guys, showing you guys. It all loops together. So in the end, you guys hopefully, by the end of this series, you guys will hopefully be able to see the whole picture here and be able to really seek after your own goals and dreams and ideas and chase those limits and feel confident in the fact that you have the proper tools to be able to do it and not fall on your face, right? I've taught people this, God knows how many times in person, like privately, in reptiles, etc. And they always will be right on par. It is consistent. It's not just something that like, oh, it's special to me. No, it will recreate itself every time if you're doing each step like I'm teaching. So again, any one of these will. Any one of these models that I'm going to be showing you guys will. All of them will. So, and they will also be the fastest route to you guys getting to it. So, but anyways, though, hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I'm going to end this now. I'm trying to keep all of them, 10 to 20 minutes, 20 tops. It's been 20 minutes and 32 seconds. So